Hey everybody, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Today's gonna be my episode 71, AEW Dynamite After Maximum Carnage on or in Orlando rather. This had a lot of stuff going on during this episode, especially with MJF and his soon-to-be opponents. So let's get into it. Episode actually starts off with MJF celebrating, with his little ring coming in, pyro coming down. Gets called in by Tony Schiavone wearing a green suit, kind of weird, reminded me of kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. was dressed up when he presented himself as Doom, but it is what it is. Um, Tony Schiavone calls him out. He's kind of celebrating, and like always, typical MJF fashion, he kind of shits on Tony Schiavone, talks down to him, and he starts talking shit to the crowd, starts saying how good of a wrestler he is, that he's the best in the world, that he's the best in this industry, that no one on any promotion can see him. Honestly, from what I've seen from other promotions, Bandito could wrestle his ass off. That's still under the AEW umbrella. I like Santana and TNA. Every now and then when I watch the highlights or just watch him on Instagram. Um, WWE, I've fallen off lately, guys. So that's why you guys haven't seen me posting of it. I don't like CM Punk as a champion. I know Drew McIntyre recently beat Cody, so about fucking time someone took the title off of Cody. But honestly, MJF, I think, has the best character and or best storyline going on. Kill me in the comments if you want, but honestly, that's how I feel. Um, but he starts talking shit, and out of nowhere, Brody King's music hits, and MJF is scared shitless. He just kind of like staring the whole time as King's walking into the ring, and he's just like this, like, oh fuck, what did I do? And Brody King, as big of a guy he is, from whatever thing I'm seeing, he's actually a really good guy. He does say that him and Bandito have been friends for over like 20 years. He respects the shit out of Bandito and out of the Mexican or Latino community. So that's actually really nice to see. He wore that Abolish ICE t-shirt. He's going to be working with DC on a comic book cover, and all the proceeds are going to go to helping people in certain communities that were affected by the ICE raids for Brody King. Man, thank you so much. I know you're helping out a lot of people. It doesn't affect me personally, but I know it affects people that I know, and it could affect people that I know. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Brody King, AEW, and DC Comics. Thank you so much. Um, but they're they're kind of building up a story there. Brody King saying that I don't like what you did to Bandito. That's my boy. That's my partner. That's my brother. And he had MJF shook for a little bit, and he was like, "I want a match." And we all know that you got to make wins, or you got to have wins to be at the number one contender. And he pretty much told Brody King, "Yo, who have you beaten? You haven't beaten no elite talent. You haven't beaten no one who has a shot or a chance at this title. How about stop beating jobbers and then come see me?" He's not wrong. The last week, Brody King, I mentioned it, had a squash match with someone, 30 seconds max, beat him. Didn't even take his jacket off, beat him. He got a point. Can I see Brody King in the title picture? Hell yeah, I can see him in the title picture. Big ass dude. Lance Archer, we'll talk about him later. He could be in the title picture. Um, there are so many guys right now that can take a run or take a shot at MJF. And Brody King, I think, will be the next one for now. They're going to let the other guys build up. But I can see definitely Brody King going on a couple win tears and doing this thing. But he does tell him, like, get some wins up and then come see me. Until then, don't even worry about talking to me because you're not getting a shot. Well, after that, MJF kind of walks off, smirking, kind of scared still. He's like, play my fucking music. Tired of this barking guy. And they play his music. He walks out. Well, you had the trios champion have like a little interview there. And Hangman's kind of blessing these guys, like, yo, do your thing. He's like, Speedball, actually, they were coming up with names. So, of their trios group. And Kevin Knight, which, man, that dude's amazing. Kevin Knight goes, hey, I was thinking about Jet Set Rodeo. And that reminded me about the video game back on Sega Genesis, Jet Set Radio. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then Speedball comes, how about Horse? And then Hangman's like, nah, I tried that before. That's not going to work. So funny segment. But he did tell the young guys, like, yo, do your thing. He was like, Speedball, Joe's a monster. He's vicious, he's big, he's strong. You gotta use your speed against him. You gotta slow him down. Kind of giving him some flowers, like giving him some knowledge, like, yo, you gotta do what you do, but you also gotta watch out for him because he is a competitor. And then Kevin kind of matched him the same thing, like, yo, what about me? And he goes, just do your thing. It's gonna be a great match. That's showing that Hangman has built up respect for Swerve. Pretty much, but also at the same time telling Kevin, you got this. We'll talk about that match later, but it was one hell of a fucking match. So after that, guys, we did have Joe and Speedball to start the night off after that little segment. And honestly, it was speed versus strength, all pun intended. Speedball was doing quick kicks, quick moves, quick chops. But what happened? Joe gave him like a bunch of devastating fucking chops, and the whole crowd was like, "Woo!" You heard that shit. You know what I mean? And every time Speedball was getting the better of Joe, the ops come out, Shibata comes out. Hobbs is gone. Sorry to see Hobbs leave. I've been talking about I was really high on Hobbs. I wanted him to be a champion. Hobbs, I will watch WWE to see what you do, but I'm not a fan of WWE. Like I mentioned right now, they got to do a lot of things or fix a lot of things for having me watching them consistently. Hobbs, wish you nothing but the best. And I wish you could have stayed with AEW and see what you can do, but I understand you got to see what's out there for yourself. So good luck. I will be watching what you're going to do in the future, Hobbs. Thank you for everything you've done in AEW and put on our screens. But the ops came out. They did get interfere multiple times. And the first thing I'm thinking, where the fuck is Kevin Knight and Hangman? How you going to let your boy get beat up like that and lose? Joe ends up beating him, knuckle buster or muscle buster, pins him. It was a good match, honestly. We all knew Joe was going to win. But the crazy part is, like, where's Speedball's guys? Like, Kevin Knight, yeah, you got a match later on tonight, but where are you? You could have played it off like, oh, I got hurt during the match. I'm going to be down or whatever. Nothing. Hangman, you didn't even have a match. You had a match on Collision, I think, against Shibata. Where are you? Y'all should at least came in and chased them off or something. You know what I mean? Like, or it could have been Hook came out first. Somebody chased Hook out. Then Shibata comes in, and same thing. That person should have been something. There should have been no reason why there was 3-on-1 during that segment. Again, you have Shibata and Hook help Joe win that match, which Joe really didn't need it, but Joe's definitely playing that heel card. And then what do we see? MJF is overlooking the match, watching him as he's nervous. He's got a target on his back, so he's watching the match throughout the night, and he saw Joe win and how Joe won with the help of the ops. So what does that say? MJF is a little scared. MJF is also alone. What do you guys think is going to happen? Because if he wrestles Hangman now has his trios team with Jet Speed. If he wrestles Joe has the ops. Swerve has Prince Nana. Kenny Omega's the only one that don't got nobody right now. Like, honestly, Kenny has nobody unless he teams up with Jurassic Express again. But Kenny kind of a loner. So if anything, Kenny might be his best match to actually win the match. But we'll go from there, guys. Later on, you had the Death Riders versus the Don Callis family. You had Mox, Yuta, and Danny Garcia with Marina Shafir on the side versus Lance Archer, which I'm happy to see in the ring. Everybody dies. I'm happy to see him there. And Rocky Romero and Hechicero. Now, this match was a street fight, so we expected them to be all over the place. Yeah, they were out in the crowd. They were hitting each other with weapons. Someone was on barbed wire. But there was a segment that I know Taz picked up on it. I don't know if anybody else did. Hechicero tapped was tapping out when it was either Yuta or Danny Garcia had him in the leg lock. He tapped right when the match started. He tapped, and Taz was like, "What? What?" And you called and saw Taz like, "What the hell's going on?" He tapped. No one caught that, and they're like, "Oh, they tried to play. Oh, the referee didn't see it." And then later on throughout the match, they go, "Oh yeah, we were just told that it's a street fight, but the pin or submission has to happen to the ring. They have to cover their ass." Had a botch there, and you even saw it. Just like, no, I didn't tap. You tap, bro. As much as I like you as a wrestler, Hechicero, you fucked up. No one caught it though. At least no one major caught it. I caught it. Taz caught it. I'm sure other people caught it, but But this match is going back and forth. And Lance Archer looked amazing in this match. For a while, he was whooping everybody's ass. And who comes in? Marina Shafir comes in, and she goes right into Lance Archer's face like, I ain't scared of you, motherfucker. Let's go. And he goes to pick her up, and she puts him like in an arm bar, takes him down. Marina Shafir looking like a fucking stud, bro. Like, when are they gonna put some gold? And I think, and quote me if you guys want or find it on yourself. I think Marina Shafir is also a champion in Defy Wrestling, or at least I saw her at one point with the title. I don't know if she still has it, but Marina Shafir is doing other things in other little promotions. So why not give her a title here? Why not do a Continental Classic for the girls? Maybe another mid card title for the girls. Let Marina Shafir. Maybe some type of like street fight or MMA style belt. I don't know. Just throwing ideas out. They might suck. Somebody else might pick it up and run with it, but you know what I mean. Marina Shafir looking strong. Now, I was also worrying about like during this match. I'm like, where the hell's Claudio? Where the hell's Pac? Well, later on in the match, Pac comes out on crutches, hits one of the guys in the back, and then Claudio just fucking demolishes some guys with the crutch and then slams someone on the stage. You see like smoke and sparks going off. But it was a great match. Honestly, like the crowd was behind Moxley, the crowd was behind the Death Riders. So it was almost like a shift going on there. And I said before, like I thought they were gonna turn on Moxley, but ever since Moxley won, that's not the case. I kind of riled together and they're sticking together, sticking strong. So Claudio is the CMLL world champion, if I'm not mistaken. He does have to wrestle Roderick Strong, I think, this weekend or on Ring of Honor, something like that. So I thought maybe he might have made it in Mexico, but then they showed up, and then the funniest thing wins. After they win, you had Danny Garcia put Rocky Moreno in the Walls of Jericho or the Lion Tamer, and at the same time, Moxley curb stomps him, so he's out. He's out. He just passed out. And then right after that, Moxley walks up to Don and goes, "Yep, anything to say? Anything to say? What? What? You got anything to say?" And then he says, "Tell your boy if he wants a shot to come find me." I'm assuming he's talking about Okada because he technically took Okada's belt. Maybe he's talking about Kyle Fletcher because Kyle Fletcher wanted the title. I mean, I honestly don't know who exactly Times on Moxley rants and it just goes off, and you're like, what the fuck is he talking about today? But they did definitely show the Death Riders triumphant, beating the Don Callis family, and there was it didn't show up, at least not on TV that I saw, but Lance Archer had a little like backstage segment that they posted on Instagram, and he's pretty much telling the Death Riders this shit ain't over. He's got a busted up gash eyebrow. He's like, this shit ain't over. He goes, y'all just woke up the Murder Hawk monster. This ain't over. I'm coming from each and every one of y'all. About fucking time. About time. Lance Archer even said, I've been in the background in the shadows for way too long. I'm coming for each and every one of you. Why not? You big as hell. Why the fuck are you taking L's every week? Go in there and dominate, bro. You've been on the TV when AEW first started almost like every week. Why aren't you doing it again? Put him out there. Even if Lance Archer, shit, Brian Cage too. Put both of those two together and take a wreck the Death Riders. As much as I like the Death Riders guys, especially Claudio and Mox, fucking what's it called? Lance Archer himself could take out like two or three of them. Yeah, I mean Marina Shafir looks strong, but Lance Archer's a beast. Like I don't understand why he hasn't won anything recently. Maybe they got to bring to Ring of Honor or something like a hardcore title and let Lance Archer do his death matches. Just throwing it out there. Um, but other than that, after that whole thing happened, the Triangle of Madness, you had Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia pretty much calling out the Galaxy Babes of Wrath. Julia pretty much tells Chris Statlander, I want a shot. They did announce it later on that night. They are going to have a title shot next week. I'm assuming Tekla is the number one contender. I'm not really sure anymore. They're not really showing who is as of now. And then Julia actually calls out Willow for the TBS championship, which I'm cool with. But again, why aren't the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, defending the women's tag team championships? What is going on? I get Willow has to pull double duty with the champion, the tag team, and the TBS championship. But I mean, guys, y'all have had the title now for I think a month now. Still haven't defended. What was the point of making all these tag teams groups during the tournament if now you're not going to defend against these women? It doesn't make sense. Have them defend. I think they went against Mina and Tony Storm after the fact. Like I think after, but after that, it's just been trios matches at the trios matches at the trios matches. And now both Chris and Willow have a singles title, a singles match for their title or to defend their title, and Carly's left out. Defend the women tag team champions. The same thing y'all doing with FTR. The women should be defending too. That's at least my say on that. If y'all don't want to hear it, I get it, but that's how I feel. Speaking about FTR, they had a match later on, pretty much trying to show their dominance that they're still the tag team to beat, that they're not afraid of Davis and Doyle. But honestly, they had a match against Jordan Oliver and Alex Price, I think it was. Sorry if I didn't have their names down or if I botched them. Surprisingly, the new guys, the newcomers, did well. Speed versus strength again. Another match similar to it. High flyer versus old school tag team wrestling. FTR allowed these guys to stay with them, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, we know this stuff is what's it called? Predetermined. They made these guys look really good. Jordan Oliver and Alec Price there, they looked really good during the match. They had a couple close calls. It was like 2 3/4 pin. Oh, jump that right at the end, a couple times. Stokely was out there on his wheelchair talking about donate to Stokely. I had a little thing pop up saying donate to Stokely. I personally didn't want to do it, but I heard a couple guys on TikTok say that they went to it, and it shows a video of Stokely saying, "Hey, donate the money to me. The money's going to me." But this match actually made FTR look weak, in my opinion. It made FTR look like they struggled to win the match. Like they fell off or slowed down. Now, Davis and Doyle looked really strong in their number one contendership when they won the number one contendership. So if you put those two against these two, it's not gonna marry up. Okay. That's my whole thing. It's not gonna marry up. Like, what is going on that FTR didn't look strong at all? They actually looked slow, they looked sluggish, like they weren't ready for these guys. And Davis and Doyle was wrecking house in the number one contendership match. By just those two matches, yes, FTR can come and just smoke them when they wrestle next week. But by those two matches, FTR looks slow and Davis and Doyle like a fucking powerhouse. Just by those two matches, I would say Davis and Doyle might win that. But I know FTR is a better technical tag team, so they can probably pull it off. But that's just my opinion. Now, after that, you did have you did have Chris Stat and Willow and Carly kind of talk back or answer back to the Triangle of Madness. And they said, yeah, they accept. But again, Harley's being left out. So I just need to know what's going on there. Then you had a match with Kenny Omega and Josh Alexander. Good match. Amazing match, personally. Like, I'm surprised how well these guys work together. They said that one of the reasons why Josh Alexander signed with AEW because he wanted to wrestle with Kenny Omega before he retired. Check it off his bucket list. Fucking good match between these two. Technical match, hard-hitting match, high-flying moves. They did their thing, selling their asses off. What is it? Dragon suplex or dragon, what Kenny does, I don't know the name of the fucking move, but onto the concrete, onto the reconstructed neck of Josh Alexander. Just a good match, honestly. Calls out Don Callis. And again, the big takeaway. So Kenny wins. Joe wins. And who's watching their match? MJF with his arms crossed, looking at the screen, watching these guys win. So now they all won. The year just started and they all won. MJF is shook, scareless. And he's got to worry about Brody King now because he wants to throw his name into the hat. So again, you have Joe, you have Hangman, and Brody King so far this week that MJF has to worry about. What do you guys think? Now, after that, you did have a kind of like a grudge match with Mina and Timeless Tony Storm versus Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. Decent match, can't complain. But what I can complain about is, well, why wasn't the Babes of Wrath defending against one of these girls, one of these two tag team girls? I thought originally it was going to be Penelope Ford and Megan Bain win the tag teams, or Anna Jay and Ty Conti. They both didn't win. This would have been the perfect opportunity for one of them two teams. I mean, Mina and Timeless Tony Storm already wrestled them, if I'm not mistaken. So this would have been like a number one contendership, or just something to that effect to defend those titles. But I digress. Decent match with the girls. At one point, Marina Shafir, not Marina, she does interfere, but my bad, I kind of blew that. At one point, you have Megan Bain toss Marina Shafir out of the ring on top of Tony Storm. She fucking clears her, and Mina falls flat on her side. And for a while, you saw Megan Bain at first, like, huh, and then she kind of started posing and stuff, giving Mina time to recuperate to see if she's really hurt or not. And for a while, it looked like she was really hurt. She took a long time to get up. So that was kind of a botch there. Megan Bain is really strong, especially if she could, even Mina, she's got to be like 125 pounds, at least I would say. She could be a little bit less or more, but at least let's say 125 pounds. She just threw her across the ring like it was nothing. Outside the ring, rather, 4 feet across over somebody. Then she takes Penelope Ford after they wake up and throws her on top of both of them. Mina was getting her ass beat, but a little bit though. Mina starts fighting back. Tony Storm starts fighting back. Then you see Marina Shafir come through the crowd, chokes out Timeless Tony Storm with Mother's Milk. Penelope Ford and Megan Bain win the match. So that little friendship is still going strong. Marina Shafir and Megan Bain and Penelope Ford working well together. Maybe are they going to introduce trios for women's? I might be pushing it, but maybe. We'll see what happens. But that partnership between those two is still there. Now, not sure where that's going to go with it, but again, a little upset about the women not defending the titles personally. That's at least how I feel. But you do have the main event, Kevin Knight versus Swerve, and the match started. Both of the guys showing respect to each other. That's literally how the match started. Both of them showing respect. Both doing the moves they can, high flying, flips, acrobatic. We all know Kevin Knight could do it. We all know that that Swerve could do it. And honestly, like, it's pretty crazy that you have these two gentlemen not holding back against each other. Pile driver on the barricade, curtain call this, frog splash, or no, UFO splash from Kevin Knight, curtain call from Kevin Knight, catching him with curtain call in midair off of jumping off the ropes. This match was insane. I don't know what people will rate it, but I would say it's a definitely good match. And it's nice to see that Swerve is willing to show he's still the most dangerous man in AEW. And he was pointing that out there when he was getting frustrated with Kevin Knight. Pile driver on the barricade, like I said. On top of that, he was about to I think he was about to pile drive him on the stairs for a moment, but he was just going all out, pretty much showing he's the most dangerous man in AEW. Well, Swerve wins this match. So just to reiterate, Joe won. Not Hangman. Joe won. Kenny Omega won. And Swerve Strickland won. And who was watching? MJF was watching all the matches. On top of those three, you also have what's his name? Brody King also throwing his name in the hat. So now you got 4 dudes that are coming after you. And all 4 dudes could actually wrestle their ass off, and all 4 dudes can take it from you. Now, there's still a lot of people who can still jump the list. Kyle Fletcher, Okada, Takeshita. You know what I'm saying? You have so many guys. There's over 10 guys that could try to take this title. Lance Archer. Like, come on. Especially after him saying that shit on Instagram. I've been sitting in the shadows for way too long. Yes. Lance Archer, come to the front of the classroom. Yes. Let's get this going. Can't wait to see Lance Archer go after those guys. Have a nice feud with Moxley. Maybe he takes the title off of Moxley, brings the title back to the Don Callis family. I don't know, but likes to see Lance Archer get some airtime, wrestling time as well. Great match for AEW. Can't wait to see it. Don't know what they're gonna do with the women's tag team titles. I hope they start showing them at least on Collision or something. Let me see them defending them in Ring of Honor. Let's see something. Let's put some more women out there, guys. Like, I'm happy to see Chris Statlander and versus Tekla and Willow versus Julia. It's gonna be a good match, but you made a big deal about these women tag team titles. Let's get it going. And again, MJF is watching everybody. He's like trying to study him, but he looked nervous. He looked real nervous. All these guys coming after his title. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in comments. Thanks for watching.